Hello and good afternoon, everyone. This is a very interesting podcast that I'm going to be doing today, an impromptu discussion of Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics, Marvel's Avengers. The reason I decided to do this is because I have, of course, been very vocal about this game on how I wasn't really triggered per se or bothered by the Spider-Man exclusivity for the PlayStation 4 slash PlayStation 5. Yeah, it bothered me, but I was willing to look past that, understanding that this is a business at its core. And I was pretty adamant publicly and on, both on the podcast and on Twitter and other forms of social media, how I was going to buy this game once. And I had the collector's edition, the $200 collector's edition, which of course comes with the statue of my favorite hero, Captain America, pre-ordered at Amazon. And I got to be honest with you, the more I sat on it, the more it actually bothered me. And so much so that I was considering, canceling the pre-order last week, and then something happened where a disclaimer from Square Enix was released, basically explaining what we as consumers are expected to do moving forward, and their pricing structure became so gross and so nauseating that it, like I said, I sat on it almost the entire weekend, and there were at least 2 or 3 times where I had the cancellation button set. And then early this morning, I said, you know something? I have to agree with many people on Twitter who were vocal about canceling their pre-order, so I canceled it. And I am not giving Square Enix one dime. And if I have to buy this game a year from now used to experience Marvel's, the Avengers and all the characters that are going to be available, then so be it. But you know what? I do have someone with me, someone that I appreciate his knowledge when it comes to comics, but I also appreciate the way he handles himself within the community. And he is none other than the Italian Clowns. Welcome to this impromptu discussion regarding and surrounding Marvel's The Avengers.
Yeah, thanks, Boom, for having me here. It's going to be a good topic. I mean, there's a lot going on, like you said, and I can't wait to hear your input on this, especially, and I'll also give my input as well.
Well, yeah, obviously, I'm glad that you're here, more specifically because, like myself, you and I grew up with reading the comics off the rack. We have a great appreciation for both Marvel and, of course, DC as well. And not even bringing the films into the conversation, we have seen a tremendous amount of goodwill from DC. With DC Fandom that happened about a week ago, and that was created a tremendous amount of buzz around DC. We're still waiting for Kevin Feige and Marvel to make a move. We know that New Mutants just released. It's getting so-so reviews. I'm hoping to buy that on video on demand. And of course, we're still waiting to hear what Disney is going to do in for the remainder of the year, concerning Marvel. But most people, most gamers, were very excited for, of course, Marvel's Avengers. And if you are someone like myself who has put over 1,000 hours into both Destiny 1 and 2 and the Division 1 and 2, you understand that grinding for gear and adding having this big world to traverse through as a Marvel character, potentially one of your favorite characters, sounded amazing. Like when I first saw this, when Square Enix first talked about Marvel's The Avengers, I was through the roof excited. And I could not believe that, a game that was going to be something like Destiny or something like The Division, something that I loved playing and just had put hours and hours and hundreds and thousands of hours into, just thinking that I could have that same excitement, but with Marvel characters. Now, let's be clear. Marvel is where my heart is. I mean, I have a respect for DC tremendously. My favorite character in DC is Batman, simply because he's a man. And his rogues gallery is second to none. Real quick, let me just catch for some of these super chats. First of all, we have Gaming Forte here. First of all, dude, thanks so much for hanging out. He drops an outstanding $2 super chat. He says, "Did I read this title right?" And yes, Gaming Forte, I have officially canceled my $200 pre-order, and I have drawn the line in the sand. And it wasn't because of Spider-Man. It wasn't because of things being hidden behind a marketing deal with Sony and Square Enix. It was this disclaimer, which I'm going to read. And I got to be honest with you. I hired, he's not here yet. Hopefully he'll get him into the chat, a lawyer to help me traverse. I'm just kidding. There's no lawyer coming to this show. But anyway, you would need one to traverse this explanation of that was posted. And it's titled Marvel's Avengers, Everything You Need to Know About Gear and Cosmetics. Folks, listen, here's the thing. If you have to put out a disclaimer 5 or 7 days before your game is released to explain paid DLC and battle passes and 40 tiers of content and returned credits, that, you know, it's a problem. It's a big problem. Real quick, Spider-Man drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says no streamer has more integrity than Boop. Well, dude, that's very kind of you to say, and I appreciate that. And trust me, listen, folks, it actually pained me, like literally gut-wrenching pained me to, of course, cancel this pre-order. I was looking forward to this. As a matter of fact, just a couple of weeks ago, live on the air, I discussed my excitement to still play this game, to still pay Square Enix the money, even coming up with a plan where I said, well, you know what, for the PlayStation 4 version /5, I'll buy it used so I can play as Spider-Man. And I had people reach out to me and say, Boom, we appreciate your opinion, but we think this is the wrong move. And again, you know, obviously peer pressure never bothers me. So this move is strictly based on what happened prior to the weekend with them dropping this disclaimer. Clowns, real quick, I want to, of course, get your quick opinion on this disclaimer that was dropped by Square Enix, and I'm going to read it to the people. We already have 112 people here, and again, folks, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to stop by. I had no idea I'd even get one person, because again, this is an impromptu, last minute. Like, I thought at 10 minutes after 12 to do this, and I figured, you know what? Let me just get my theories and thoughts out there. Maybe somebody wants to, maybe somebody's on the fence. Maybe you want to hear my opinion. So I want to thank everybody for being here. But clowns, when you see this disclaimer, which, and here's this, I want people to take this into to complete context here. Okay, besides the disclaimer, right, which I'm going to read after Clowns gives us his impression on it. There are 3 additional, listen to this, folks, 3 additional tags that you can click on. And it says this: everything you need to know about Marvel's Avengers Day 1, everything you need to know about Marvel's Avengers accessibility features, and everything you need to know about Marvel's Avengers co-op play. Listen, folks, this is outrageous on any given day. Not only do you have to click on the initial explanation, but there are 3 additional tags that you can click on explaining more in-depth information that are 4 pages in length per click. That is pretty, I mean, that sounds like when you're going to sign a contract and you have your lawyer present to read the fine print before you sign this deal. Clowns, how outrageous do you think this is?
I think a lot of what's going on with this game in general, I think, is very concerning, to be honest with you, Boom. There is a lot of issues that it seems like it's becoming more and more of a money grab than anything else. And that's a huge disappointment for me as a Marvel fan. Now, I will say I kept my deluxe edition. I didn't cancel it because I had free money on PlayStation. But if I would have had to pay cash for this, I probably would have canceled it too. I just think that the route that they're going is just all about money, and that's all they care about. They don't even give the characters faces that well of a comic book look, and I still gave that a pass. I was like, okay, I'll still like this game. And it's just, I mean, Boom, it's just so disappointing. Right now you don't see DC doing this. DC hasn't come out and said anything like this about their games. So I don't know what they're thinking over there at Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics. Like, do they think they can just sucker all the Marvel fans into money and money and more money? I mean, is this just going to be a big pile of cash and then abandonware later on? That's my fear, because if they keep going this route with all this money stuff, people are going to stop playing the game. They're going to cancel their orders, and what's going to be left on the service for people to play with?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and that's really where we come into it. Real quick, let me just shout out Smitty Smith. First of all, very good and generous friend of the show. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, "Totally agree with you, Boom. I just can't bring myself to spend that kind of money on this game. Just atrocious." The Book of X. Now, look, I'm going to. I'm going to read this, and I'm going to take some breaks. You guys, I'm going to have to take some breathers. That's how long this is. Like I said, it's like a record deal contract that Boom is about to sign. It says here, look, this is how it starts off. From our very first presentations of Marvel's Avengers at E3 2019, we've made clear that reassembling the Avengers is just the start of our story. We're also committed to that future where playable updates are going to be a thing, such as new characters, story content, missions, and regions will all be available at no additional cost to players. Right away, that sounds good. You're like, okay, this sounds fantastic. What do you mean? We're going to buy the game once and we're getting all these characters for free? Yeah, that's how it is. But again, read the fine print, folks. It says this: to put this content into context, Hawkeye will be its very own unique in-depth story mission chain, which will be played either as co-op or solo. He'll bring a new villain with him as well. And like the core 6 heroes, he and all future characters will have custom movesets and combos, skill, gear, heroics, and assortment of free unlockable outfits, emotes, and nameplates. By releasing all of this content for free, we prevent content gating and guarantee that you and your friends can experience these exciting additional heroes together, taking on the emerging threats as the team of Earth's mightiest heroes. Now, this sounds heroic. Like, I'm excited. Like, you just read this and you're like, okay, they've got my money in mind. They're not going to charge me for anything. We've also committed that content purchasable with real money in Marvel's Avengers will be aesthetics only, which will ensure that we can keep the game fresh for years to come. The fight against AIM is only just beginning, and there's much more story and many more heroes on the horizon. Now, for context, they did some data mining on the 2 demos that were available. Actually, technically 3 demos. There was one for the PlayStation first, Xbox the week after, and then for everyone the week after that. And they found a total of 15 additional heroes that are going to be added, which makes sense. It's the Marvel Universe, for crying out loud. But this is where it starts to get a little funny. Now, one of the misunderstandings, I think, with a lot of people in the community come where they say that each. Okay, let me back up for a second, because let me just read verbatim of exactly what this is. Okay, they have something. They like in most online games that are so-called "quote unquote" free to play, they have battle passes, right? Battle passes give you up, usually it's a skin, usually it's some weapons. Like if you look at the battle passes for Apex Legends or like say Fortnite, right? They give you some weapons. They give you, a couple of skins. I think they're usually about $10, and it gets you, season whatever. Like if they're up to season 7, you're buying the battle pass for season 7, and that's it. And of course, obviously these are free to play games, and the way they hook you, for instance, is the outfits, right? Like for instance, our good friend, voice of the Iron Lords, Lord Cognito, put out a tweet where he purchased the Silver Surfer pack. Ash is one of his favorite characters, and he doesn't really play Fortnite, but he started to play it because of the fact that you can use, the Herald of Galactus, known as the Silver Surfer. So of course he's a fan. You have to tip your cap that he wants to support this. So then I started reading about the hero pass for Marvel's Avengers. And this is where we get into the weeds of really, like, for instance, I was under the impression early on when this was announced that they would have different character, costumes to buy. Like, for instance, I was under the impression at one point that Spider-Man was going to be available for all. So if I saw the Symbionite outfit, I would, of course, purchase that because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. And I said, well, I'll pay $5 for an outfit. I don't care. I'll get to use the Symbionite Spider-Man. It's going to look dope in the game. But then as we started progressing towards the release of this game, clowns, they started talking about battle passes. So I was under the impression that one battle pass for $10 would get you a certain amount of things. And sure, it will get you a certain amount of things, but it's a battle pass per character. Now, the 6 original characters you're going to get with the game, Black Widow, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, everyone that's involved there that comes with the game. And of course, Kamala Khan. There's no battle pass necessary. But Hawkeye, when he gets in there, these battle passes per character are going to give you a bunch of extra things. And there is a way for you to re-earn the 1,000 credits that you spend, which is $10. 1,000 credits equals $10. But so you say to yourself, well, wait a second, Boom, that actually is pretty good. They're going to give you back the $10 that you spent as long as you do the challenges from the challenge cards. That's awesome. Yeah, you know what? It would be awesome if there was a few things you had to do, but there are 40 tiers. Clowns, 40 tiers of things for you to do per character to get this $10 back. Listen, again, what I'm talking about is egregious on any level. If you want to support this, I'm not gonna pick on you. I'm not gonna call you names. I say go for it, clowns. Me explaining to this, I spoke for about 10 minutes. Well, so much so that I got a dry throat. I had to stop and take a sip of water. What are your thoughts about me having to explain these hero passes?
I think this is the worst part of the game, to be honest with you. I think that $10 per, extra character added to the game is a ridiculous amount to pay, because if they add, a lot of characters, it adds up. And it sounds like it's going to be a very grinding game. I mean, there's people that like that, and I get that. But at the same time, do you want to sink that many hours into this game when it's supposed to be like a fun co-op game with friends, do like a couple of strikes or raids, whatever they call their missions in the future? And all of a sudden now you bought into the battle pass and you got like the 40 tiers, like you said, and you got to do this, and that, and this, and that. And you'll keep on grinding while your friends move on to other games. You'll be there by yourself trying to get all this stuff done just because you're a Marvel fan or a comic book fan or a fan of this game. And I mean, that's a lot of hours to put into a game. You're losing time from everything else. As a gamer myself, I already have a large backlog. I don't need Marvel Avengers to take up, the next year of my life just in Battle Pass completion challenges. And I feel really bad for the completionists out there that got this game, because those people are going to be very furious and doomed with their time, and they're not going to be able to stop playing this game until they get all the tiers done on all the characters. I mean, Boom, do you really want to spend, the next several months of your life just grinding battle passes?
Well, no, I'll say this. I know there's a good friend of the show, Flamish. He actually messaged me on Twitter regarding this, and he's in the chat. So Flamish, welcome to the show, dude. He did. I want to just make sure I correct myself. There's no time limit for how long it takes you to grind these 40 tiers. So it is without a time limit per se. But let's say, for instance, I just think that on its surface, at its core, there is real doubt, at least in my mind, on what exactly you're going to be able to get by just playing the game. Especially if it did not have battle passes, I would say that you could probably unlock a tremendous amount of different outfits by just playing the game. Per character, leveling up, unlocking perks. You got Thor's, Maybe there's going to be a better Ray Bill, skin. I don't know. I mean, that would be kind of dope. Maybe you're going to get, when Thor wasn't worthy, that kind of a skin. Maybe we can get, by just playing the game, we can get, a War Machine. Until the character is released. I know he's one of the characters that were data mined, so there's going to be a War Machine character, so you won't necessarily need it. But maybe there's going to be an outfit for Iron Man, the Mark 47 that you want, or the Mark 14. I don't know, whatever get your fancy. But I don't think it's going to be that simple. And I got to be honest with you, if you look at what comes with these, I mean, this is pretty incredible. I'm going to break it down. For each hero card has 40 tiers of, here we go, free, quote unquote, free and premium rewards. And these rewards could be earned via challenge points by completing daily and weekly challenges. And the hero challenge card rewards include, now get this, listen to this. This is crazy. I thought Destiny ran you through the ringer. Rare resource bundle that includes nanotubes, nanites, plasma, and catalysts. Resource bundle, fragments and upgrade modules. Upgrade module bundles, which includes upgrade modules. Exotic resource bundles, which includes Polychron and YOUR. Units, credits, hero nameplates, team nameplates, emotes, takedown, and outfits. Holy shit, are you serious? Like, look, I'm going to say this, folks. I'm actually, now that I'm doing this live stream, I don't even feel guilty about canceling this, because trust me, it bothered me. Like I said, I'd be the first one to say this was one of my most anticipated games. A very good friend of the show. You know him as someone that has recently stepped off of his position on the Xbox Factor podcast. Luke Lore, also known as the Insipid Ghost, he also is someone that canceled his pre-order. And he went down from collector's edition, the $80 edition, the regular edition, to just, I'm going to pick it up when I can get it used. I mean, listen, and he's a diehard Marvel guy. I mean, this is Mr. Chief. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I think there are a lot of people in the chat that will agree with me. And again, I'm not trying to sway you from getting the game. Listen, folks, people tried to sway me, and I said, no, I'm going to still buy it. I don't care. You know what, Spider-Man? Yes, I'm devastated, but I'll get the game used and I'll play Spider-Man. And as we got close to this launch, nothing. So real quick, we have Gun Grave in the chat. He drops a very outstanding and very generous $10 super sticker, and it's of a superhero that's flying. That's pretty dope. I gotta admit. So thanks so much for being here, but thank you for your generosity, dude. Clowns, when you hear about these so-called quote-unquote premium hero challenge cards and regular challenge cards and multi-tiered challenge cards, I mean, it really seems as if you're going to have to read a manual before playing this game to figure it all out. I mean, does that immediately scream something is wrong or something potentially could be broken?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Bloom, the fact that they gave the information to all these press outlets about the Battle Pass, but didn't show what the tiers actually look like. When you play games like Fortnite or you play games like Call of Duty, they'll actually show you what the upcoming Battle Pass looks like a few days beforehand. And we haven't seen what these Battle Passes actually look like, what these nameplates look like, these hero cards and whatnot. So this is very, very suspicious. And it's just a very bad way to do PR for this game. I mean, I'm going to end up buying, let's say, the $10 battle pass. And what am I going to grind for? Like these little cheesy looking nameplates that are like license plate equivalents to just say Thor or, say Hulk. I mean, it's just crazy, Boom, that they can add this stuff in there like this and charge $10. Like, it sounds like there's a lot of useless nameplates. Like, give us better stuff too, and don't make us grind so much for this kind of stuff. Like, add better cosmetic items. Do stuff like Call of Duty or Fortnite for a battle pass. It's a lot better, and those games are massively successful. And this battle pass just sounds like, man, it's going to turn people off. This is going to give the game bad reviews in general when it launches. Look at what happened with Shadow of War and all those loot boxes. This is the exact same thing. It's a cash grab. And I am furious when I hear you reading this kind of stuff. As a gamer, I'm not happy about this at all. It's not good. There's nothing good from this.
Yeah. And, here's the thing. There are a couple of takeaways besides the egregious charging that they're going to want to do. All right. First of all, I'm actually very surprised. Now, I thought the game was releasing tomorrow, which because and that's the thing that's sad. That this is where it really hurts, folks. I had received a notification from Amazon that my package or my collector's edition was going to arrive tomorrow, and obviously, I canceled my pre-order and it went through. That means I would have been getting it 2 days early. That's never happened to me before. So it hurts even worse now that I actually did cancel it because I was going to get the game 2 days before. But I'm not sure if that was something that was set up. I don't remember if you if you buy the collector's edition, you get it 2 days early. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. It's just another, wow, okay, I get to play it 2 or 3 days earlier if I spend the $85 more on the collector's edition or whatever. It's just where does it stop? Where does it stop? And there are a couple of things here, folks. There are a couple of things that have me tremendously concerned about where this is going to move going forward. First and foremost, if the game releases for people who bought the $80 edition and the $200 edition, which it comes with the statue of Captain America, which I really wanted, I'm not going to lie. Shouldn't the reviews technically be out already if the game is going to be available to the public, even if it's to the not the general public, but to the paying public, if you will? And there hasn't been any reviews. I would imagine that the embargo is probably going to be lifted either Wednesday at midnight, potentially Thursday at midnight, which would be the day, obviously if it releases at midnight on Thursday, would be, technically, Friday morning. And if they wait until then to release the reviews, that means that something is afoot for sure. Because obviously, if you remember, there were plenty of really big games, and this is a big game, that had their reviews go up a week before because they were confident in the game. I feel kind of like maybe Square Enix isn't so confident because a lot of people, even though it ran at 30 frames or less than 30 frames during the demos, I didn't because I played the PlayStation beta, played the Xbox beta, and then I didn't play it anymore because I didn't want to ruin it for myself. I did that with Destiny 1. I leveled up every character, and by the time the game finally came out, I had to redo it all over again. I'm like, oh, what a drag. I have to do all of this over again. So I didn't play anymore. But I got to tell you, considering there are so many other games coming out soon, along with, a couple of systems whenever we find out those are coming clowns, I felt it was necessary to kind of take a step back and explain voting with my wallet that I was not going to take this. And again, I don't even know if it's going to be a game I pick up this year. It may be something I just wait until next year and I can get it all, when it's $20. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I wait for then. I know that you said that you had a bunch of free PlayStation money, which is interesting. How did that come about?
Well, that, to be honest, I'm not sure. I know that I rack up rewards. Like, I use the rewards program a lot, Boom.
Okay.
So I think a lot of it racked up from there, and I just had it sitting there because I don't really log into PlayStation that much. And then when I logged in there, I was like, holy crap, I must have saved up some rewards here.
That's great.
It's like people that look at their Microsoft rewards that never knew it existed, and they have years worth of buying games and the rewards are there. So I think it was something like that for me, and that's what made me decide to get this Marvel's Avengers game. But I know that you're a big fan of Marvel, Boom. I know that you're a huge collectible fan as well. Mm-hmm. So for you to cancel this pre-order, it really means a lot because you like the stuff that comes in these collector's editions. You enjoy doing the unboxings. You enjoy putting them up on the shelf, and you appreciate these things. And for you to cancel something like this, you're really speaking volumes here, because this is a big deal for you. I know that most of the time you'll overlook certain things just because you're excited about what the statues look like, or maybe a helmet that comes in the pack, but you're really voting your wallet this time, and I gotta commend you for that, brother.
Well, thank you. And you know what? You know what made it much easier? Next week, we have Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning coming out, and that's a game that was one of the best 360 games that nobody played. When it was announced, I literally fell out of my chair of excitement. And I do have the collector's edition of that coming from Amazon as well, and I cannot wait to play that. So it made it certainly much easier for me, because I like putting 100, 200, 300 hours into a game. I like to play plenty of other games. I've been very busy the last couple of days, but playing games, actually getting back to playing games besides writing shows, it was actually pretty fun. But yeah, it's I don't know what else to say. I mean, I think that at this point, it's something that I think that if you're going to buy this game, there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you are dead set of not spending one penny past your $60, I mean, listen, I can't argue with you. I'm not going to say that you're a bad person for buying this game. I've decided that, and I think that we as consumers need to take more stands like this. Like, for instance, just bringing it back a little bit, Remedy with their shenanigans, right? I was originally super stoked for Control, see what it looked like on the next gen. I was also very excited for their shooter that they're making that's exclusive to the Xbox brand. And I have come to the realization that that's another company that, unless they change, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on the on what do you call Crossfire X, because I think that the only way that they get that what they're doing is wrong is to not give this company money. And I hate doing that, because I really do like Remedy. And like I said, Remedy is a much smaller company when you compare them to Square Enix / Crystal Dynamics. I don't necessarily know if what I'm doing, or what a lot of people in this chat, and we have almost over 250 people here, and most people are like, yeah, boom, I canceled my stuff. I'm not gonna support this kind of stuff. I don't know if what we're doing is actually gonna hurt. I will say this, clowns. If this game bombs in the reviews, oh boy, look out, because then it's really going to sting, because not only are people going to be throwing their hands up with bad reviews, they're going to be bad reviews on top of an egregious payment system is going to make this into the bargain basement kind of a game. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's going to happen. I think reviews are going to come in. I think the reviews are going to be bad because of these microtransactions. I mean, we've seen, a turn with journalists lately where they don't like this kind of microtransaction stuff. They're against it. They're against the greed of some of these corporations that do it, and they talk about it negatively in the reviews. And I think it's absolutely going to affect the review score. This isn't like an exclusive game on PlayStation. This is a multi-plat. It's going to be on PC, PlayStation, Xbox. There's going to be tons of gamers playing this game, and a lot of them might not even realize, especially casual gamers, might not even realize the kind of microtransactions being shoved in here. When they go tell mommy and daddy, hey, I need $10 for a battle pass. Oh, son, didn't we just give you that last week? Yeah, but a new DLC character came out. I need it again.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to grind this kind of stuff like some hardcore gamers. I get that there's going to be hardcore gamers that love this, right? Because they're going to grind this, and they're going to play this, and they're going to play over and over and over again. Kind of like some hardcore Destiny fans grind Destiny. I get that. There's going to be that. But it's going to be a very small percentage of gamers that can actually put up with that kind of grind. It's not going to be your average gamer, your casual gamer, your gamer that plays multiple, first-person shooters. They're not going to come and want to grind these kind of hours on this, because they're going to be multitasking in other games. So it's a huge negative reflection on this game, and I just can't believe that Disney and Marvel allowed this to happen. Like, who at Disney and Marvel was like, okay, let's let them run afoul with whatever they want to do in this game. Let's give our fans cheesy nameplates that like might have gold trim and then silver trim. Oh, and let's make a green trim one. Oh no, how about a Christmas light one? I mean, come on. I'm not going to be excited about putting that stuff on my characters. I mean, I get, okay, there might be one or two cool nameplates that you might want to put on, but how many cheesy nameplates can you shove into a battle pass? It sounds like they're going to shove a lot of this cheesy stuff in there. I'd rather see like hardcore real cosmetics like Fortnite or like, Call of Duty does with different types of blueprints. I want to see like boots. I want to see like costumes. I want to see, different faces. I want to see like even throwbacks to original artist creations in the comic books, like that kind of stuff. I love to see, but nameplates, especially how they named that in that battle pass like that, it sounds like that's what sticks out to most people's nameplates.
It's funny because Smitty Smith, a good friend of the show, drops an additional $5 super chat. So thank you so much, Smitty, for being here. And more importantly, thank you for your outstanding generosity. He says something that I kind of want to touch on. He says, what makes it worse is that they withheld this information until the last minute. Square Enix thinks they're slick. Not today, Satan. The Book of X. He has a great point. It's almost as if they're bringing this to us on the 11th hour. Like we're literally just finding out about this, I don't know, a week before the game officially releases. And they're dropping these disclaimers on, hey, listen, if you're confused about how this is going to work, just click here. And, it is definitely food for thought. It makes you wonder. Now, one of the things that they were very quick to say is that this is not a pay to win kind of a scheme. And I have to disagree because, like I said, we don't know that if the gear that are in these battle passes can be attained by putting 40 or 50 hours per character. Like they haven't said anything. And if they do say something, do we believe them? That's the question, clowns. So what I'm saying is that when I was playing the demo or the beta, if you will, you have these boxes, loot boxes that you find, you kick them open, you find a bunch of gear, you change your gear. Some give you better perks, some give you better stats. Basically, it's what you would find in any division / Destiny type of game. The difference is these battle passes are going to give you this equipment, and I'm concerned as to whether or not the equipment that you're going to get in these paid battle passes per character, so it's $10 per character. So again, if you're like me and you're a completist and you enjoy, leveling up your characters to the max and don't mind spending a couple of bucks with the additional 15 characters, clowns, that's $150. Right, that's just what we know now. It's Marvel, right? So it's Marvel. So you would imagine that at some point this is going to look like a roster from like Marvel versus Capcom, where there's going to be just tons of characters on the screen. So you're saying if there's 30 characters, there's a battle pass, a $10 battle pass per of these 30 characters. Again, it can get egregious, and I think they've overcomplicated things. I think that they have thought about how to rake the consumer over the coals. And again, the more I talk about this openly, the more I'm glad that I've just canceled my pre-order. But my question to you is this: do you believe, clowns, that Square Enix, more importantly, Crystal Dynamics, can be trusted that each one of these 15 characters that are going to come out, and you're going to buy the battle pass for? Because again, if you're a Marvel fan like me, you like them all. Sure, my Captain America is my favorite, but I want I'd love a Black Panther maxed out. I'd love a Marvel who's or Daredevil, right, or someone like that. Do you trust these companies to give you the same gear for simply playing the game, or do you feel like me that they're going to lock certain pieces of exotic gear behind these $10 purchases?
I think absolutely they're going to lock exotic gear behind these $10 purchases. It's what developers have been doing recently. And I think it's going to be a way for them to entice fans to buy into this. And you know what? That even bothers me even a little bit more thinking about that, Boom, because it's probably going to be pieces of gear or a set of a costume that reminds fans of something from a comic book or a movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be something that fans are really going to want that they might not be able to get out in the open world, or it might have like a 0.0001% drop. So just buy it in the battle pass. So they'll tell you, oh, just get the battle pass and grind it out. And you probably won't be able to get those items until the end of the battle pass as well. And then what's going to happen if you don't want to grind that battle pass? Are they going to allow you to buy tiers to even, make more money off you? And
no. Yeah, you know what? Let me answer that question. As a matter of fact, clowns, it's funny. You should bring that up because I would have forgotten to do that. You can. Here we go. Hero challenge cards do not rotate and will not be retired. So once you've activated premium rewards, there's no time limit or risk in spreading your focus between heroes. Here we go, folks. This is a kick to the balls. That being said, and this is their words, if you're in a hurry, you can, quote unquote, skip to get these through faster tiers by spending additional money.
Wow.
Holy shit, folks. Are you serious? Yes, clown. Thank you for bringing that up, dude. That is, wow.
They talk, Boom, I got to say this. And, they talk about predatory microtransactions for kids.
Mm-hmm.
This is predatory because there are kids out there that are obsessed with comic books like we were when we were younger. Like, I mean, obsessed with these things. And they're going to want to skip tiers to get it faster than their friends, or want to skip tiers so they can work on another battle pass. It is extremely predatory microtransactions. And yeah. I am so sorry to hear that they're taking this route. I can't even imagine how much they're going to charge you to skip a tier. They probably didn't even discuss that yet. And they're just going to drop it on you at the end. That is insanity. Boom. There's going to be 40 tiers to the battle pass per character?
Yes. 40 tiers per battle pass per character.
And I think Call of Duty is an average of $1.50 a skip. So I imagine this could even be higher, like $1.99 a skip. Wow.
And that's funny because right before that, the paragraph before that says this, and this entices you, like, oh my God, they're thinking of me. If you complete all challenges on your hero challenge card, not only will you earn back 1,000 credits activation cost, all of the content you earn has a value or core value of 12,500 credits. Remember, these rewards deliver fun in-game cosmetic enhancements and effects, but do not provide a gameplay advantage. And see, that's bullshit. And the reason why that's BS is because if you get godlike tier stuff from the battle pass, you're going to raise your character stats. And as you raise your character stats, so will the game raise in stats. So so when you become a level 40, all the enemies are going to be a level 40. It goes up with you. So I don't know. I mean, to me, that sounds like like if you want to get a higher tier, you spend the money. That sounds like to me pay to win or pay to play, outside of your initial $60 investment. And like I said, I mean, I know some people in there are like, well, I'm going to play this character and potentially just level up one other one. And that's cool. If that's all you're intending to play, then it'd be no big deal for you. But I just think that it's really going up a tree that I don't think we want to go up. And what's concerning, and Clowns, I want to get your opinion on this. This seems to be a very strategic placement in a game that was supposed to be very popular. If this goes off without a hinge and people start spending money, how long before EA does it and Activision does it and 2K does it, right? Like, how long before this implementation of raking the consumer over the coals is widespread? See, that's why this has to fail, because if this succeeds, this is going to be in every game moving forward. What are your thoughts on that, Clowns?
Yeah, I think that if this happens to be successful in the slightest with the install base of actually buying into these battle passes and skipping tiers, I think we're going to see a lot more of that and even longer battle passes in games, in other games like Call of Duty or Fortnite, or maybe even multiple battle passes going forward. I think that we'll start seeing this more in Star Wars games. I just, it's disgusting. It's terrible, man. Like, I can't believe, I'm just at a loss for words, Boom. Inside, I'm very furious that they did this with some of my favorite franchises. They just really turned my franchises into a money cesspool. I thought it was bad enough paying $5 per comic these days, but holy crap, this is the definition of insanity. How did they get away with this kind of thinking?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm gonna say this. First of all, I just want to address somebody in the chat, and listen, I don't mean to butcher your name. I apologize. It's does we Staboko. He says this. Boom, stop making it sound worse than it actually is. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, dude. When this show finishes and goes live, I'm gonna have every piece of content that you have to click on to understand how these things work there for you to go ahead and read and go crazy. I mean, listen, I put it up on Twitter because someone asked me also. This doesn't really sound that bad. Here you go, read it. And I put it right. I put it right in the show notes. You can click on it and listen, dude. If this is good for you, I'm not gonna argue with you, dude. I'm not gonna call you a name, say that you're whatever. No, I mean, listen. If you want to, remember, I was sitting in your chair just a couple of weeks ago, where I was beside myself, angry as all hell about Spider-Man being locked behind a paywall for another console that I didn't want to buy the game on. And after accepting, not really accepting, I suppose just putting a Band-Aid over something that needed stitches, I was like, okay, whatever. I'll get that game. I'll get it used. I won't give them the money, but I'm still going to get and play on the Xbox where I want to play. And then this launches. This launched last week. I think it was either Thursday or Friday, right before the game was supposed to launch. All of this information. Like I said, you logistically need a law degree to figure all of this out. And I have never, clowns, we've been gaming a very long time. I have never had a game release where they dropped these blurbs, and this is what they're calling it. Everything you need to know blogs. Wow. So there's 4 everything you need to know blogs about a game because of its microtransactions, and it's longer than the story of the game. Listen, folks, if you're okay with it, I'm not going to challenge you. I mean, that's perfectly fine. That's fine by me. You go ahead and support this game. But someone like myself, who is a diehard Marvel guy, who loves statues, who loves collector's edition, who's being very transparent about his open box stuff that he does, the unboxings, and is always getting behind these games, and has a tremendous amount of excitement for these games. If I have to take a step back and cancel it and be public about it, listen, it's obviously something seriously wrong, because I pretty much love everything and I collect everything and I support everything. And if I'm not supporting this, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't, this isn't here to deter you from buying the game. If you want to go buy the game, hell, buy 3 copies. I don't care. I'm just saying that I wanted to talk about it. I thought that maybe some people might be interested to know my opinion instead of just a random tweet. Hey, I canceled my stuff, folks. Big deal. I figured, what the heck? So, clowns, I mean, listen, when you hear that, when you hear that they had to drop not 1, not 2, but 4, everything you need to know blogs, should that not immediately ring some alarms for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it sounds like there's like a lot of fine print you got to read through just to get all that information. I mean, I remember buying games where you just turned over the back of the box and it just showed like 2 or 3 pictures of the game and maybe a couple paragraphs about like what the game was about, like on Sega Genesis or Super NES. It's ridiculous that we got to go through this kind of length of information just to get an idea of what they want to shove in that battle pass or the other microtransactions. And they don't even describe it in full detail. They just give us like a little glimpse into it. And they just throw words, circle around their words to make it sound enticing, when in reality it is just insanity.
Yeah.
Like, man, Boom, I can't believe that they are doing this. And, I got to say this. I know some people in the chat, I see them saying, that you're making this out bigger than it is and whatnot. But I got to say this. When Boom played the beta, he was in love with the beta.
Yep.
He loves the gameplay in this game. He was excited to play with his friends on this game. He even went and got it on Xbox because he's excited about the game, didn't care about the Spider-Man, debacle. He was still going to go over that, like bypass it. But with this kind of stuff, man, and it's a game that Boom likes, he is really voting with his wallet here, man. I'm telling you the truth. Boom was really into this game, and this is the truth that you're hearing from him today.
Well, I'll say this in regards to that, Clowns. First of all, thank you for the confirmation of my disgust towards this game, and someone that was super excited for it. I know that there are a lot of people that walked away from the beta like really bent out of shape because it was running like 24 frames per second, 21 frames. It dipped as low as 18 frames on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and I believe it was almost identical to the Xbox One. Now that was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and respectively. I don't know how much has changed, from that to the finished product. I think what we played there is pretty much what we're going to get. Now, to be fair, folks, I walked away from the demo or the beta, whatever you want to call it, and I was like, okay, I can play 30 frames per second because I'm pulling a Jez Corden. It's filmic, so I didn't really need the 60 frames per second to feel like, oh, okay, I was really getting my money's worth. So I was okay with that. But again, it's all of this other stuff that came on the back end, and really what started me down the path of negativity. And God damn it, do I hate being negative. And I think everyone knows that, was the Spider-Man thing. Like that really, man, I mean, my God, it's Spider-Man. How does this game get Spider-Man locked behind the PlayStation 4? And I don't like playing on the PlayStation 4 for certain things. Yes, their first party stuff. Yes, second party exclusive stuff. Yes. A game like Fall Guys, I've been playing it all weekend, and quite frankly, I'm addicted to it. Hopefully that does come to Xbox soon enough because I like my achievements over my trophies. But man, it was Spider-Man's, and it took a lot for me to be like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to accept this punch in the face. I just got punched in the face by Square Enix, and I'm going to take it like a chump. And then this dropped. And listen, folks, again, I want to be perfectly clear here. If you are still supporting this game, good on you. You won't hear a peep out of me. I won't dare say anything about you because, quite frankly, I was in that seat. And then this trap and these need to know blogs dropped, and I sat on it. It just kept bothering me, and I was like, I am really a boob if I spend $200+ on this game when I know that I'm going to be a part of the problem if I support this. And again, if you're still going to support it, I cannot argue with you. Listen, again, folks, we're closing in on an hour. This was only meant to be about 45 minutes to an hour. You can only rant so much. And obviously, we do have a brand new primetime gaming episode tonight at 8 p.m., which, of course, Clowns is going to be a part of. I believe Tempest Sun may not be able to make it, so just to make sure we had enough people, VJ, a very good friend, also a permanent member of the Xbox Factor podcast, will be stopping by. I'm going to be talking about a lot of particular, really, really interesting topics. We're going to be doing two of a new segment I'm doing called Bits and Bytes, and really what that is it's a before the main topics kind of topics, smaller ones that you're not going to spend 30 to 40 to 50 to 1 hour talking about. They're just meant to kind of get people excited for the show. Again, it's the new segment on every show. This is for prime time. This is also for the Xbox Factor podcast, and of course, Breakfast Room. It's called Bits and Bytes. And today's Bits and Bytes are going to be talking about two particular topics. One of which I'll give you a quick preview is Insomniac potentially releasing Sunset Overdrive 2 on the PlayStation 5. And you'll find out why I've come to that realization and why I'm actually perfectly okay with that at this point. So, yeah, tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the new episode of Primetime Gaming. Clowns, why don't we get us out of here? Oh, you know what? Real quick, let me add to this. I know you saw it up on Twitter. I know there has been a lot of people looking for me to move my shows onto other platforms. I have heard everyone's cries, and again, folks, a lot of the stuff is beyond me sometimes. I mean, I'm an old dog. So I'm learning as I'm going along. These shows, including, and it's everything from last week, including today's show, is going to be up on Spotify. I am currently awaiting to be approved by iTunes and Google. As soon as that happens, my shows, every show, is going to be available on an RSS feed on all of your favorite podcasting services. And those are the three I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with Google, I'm going to start with Apple, and Spotify. Those seem to be the three biggest ones, and I will eventually move on to other platforms. But yeah, if you asked for it, here we are. I know it's on YouTube, it kills your battery, it runs your phones hot, and now you won't have to do that anymore. You can literally listen to these on your favorite podcast services. Hopefully one of those are of the three. But clowns, let's get you out of here, because obviously we got to come back here in a couple hours to do tonight's show. Tell everyone about Four Guys with Quarters, and also where they can follow you on social media, potentially even interact with you through DM.
Yeah, thanks, Bloom. You all can find me at Italian Clowns on most social media, including Twitch. And then Monday nights around 5 p.m. Eastern, we do Four Guys with Quarters, just like it sounds, but the number 4 Guys with Quarters. It's on YouTube. We're also on a lot of podcasts and platforms. I need to update some of our RS feeds, but we're out there. And then I started a new show, Bloom. I don't know if you heard, with Flamish, called Daily Gaming Bites. And
I did hear about that. Yeah.
We try to bring daily gaming news almost every night except for Tuesdays and the weekend, in an hour or less, so that people can listen to it real quick and move on.
Yeah, you know what? Having smaller shows, sometimes people are easier. Like, I like long shows, especially when I'm doing like cleaning or the wash or something in the house where it requires me to spend a lot of time doing something. I like the not having to change the channel, so to speak. So I don't mind actually long shows. Real quick, I'm a good friend of the show. Pixel Bit G says, "Bits and bytes without Pixel Bit G." He says, "My lawyers will be reaching out to you." Hopefully not. But listen, folks, I want to thank. We had almost 300 people show up today. That's a big deal for something that was literally dropped on the community at the last minute. I want to thank everyone who took the time to come here and give their opinion, whether it was positive, negative, or supportive or not. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out. Anytime you come here to hang out with me and any of my podcast mates, it's always very, very welcome. Even if we don't agree, it's still worth a conversation. So everyone, I want to thank you so much for being here, taking the time to hang out with both me and Clowns, and we will see you this evening on the new episode of Primetime Gaming. Get ready, because we have a Microsoft topic that is going to be fire, and I think there not only are going to be a lot of people discussing it, I think there might be a lot of people agreeing on what we have to say, and it may be slightly negative. So tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the new episode of Primetime Gaming. But anyway, thank you so much for coming here. Enjoy your day. Be safe. And I want to close out the show with something that's important to me. Hopefully, it will be important to you someday. And it's something my dad taught me when I was a kid. He used to say, "Son, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day." So take care, everyone. We'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.